We do.
We do. We've been on the air for a whole 3 seconds, and we've already got a thumbs down. This is a night of haters gonna hate.
I'm going to talk about hate.
Hashtag that.
I am going to talk about hate. Just so you know.
Welcome back to our 4th episode tonight. If you missed it tonight, we had Big Daddy with talking about his passion for the industry. We had Rick Brewer. The video was a little sketchy in the beginning, but jumped to the last about half of it. The connection cleared up, and we had some great information for making some last-minute sales and the last half of the Rick Brewer video. I apologize for the video. That's part of doing live web. You're at the mercy of the web. Then we just finished up with Jeremy talking about doing gobos, and there was some great information in there. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch. I mean, he had some slides put together and pictures, and I'm excited about the animated gobo show coming up. It's like, goodness gracious, this guy's he knows what he's doing. For sure. Tonight, I'm joined by the illustrious MJ, the wonderful and lovely Shani, and Dan. So we're gonna...
At least the truth is out there. I mean, it's not like they didn't already know it.
Yeah. It's all there. So tonight, on Monday night, what we do is we talk about some of the things that hit the news of the past week, and we're going to debate and talk about those a little bit, and then basically come to no conclusion whatsoever. And that's the part of Magic of Monday. So, MJ, what's our first topic tonight?
Well, if you are at all following anything in the DJ world, which I know a lot of people really don't get into the culture and all that. No, they don't, because I bust people on all the time. They call themselves DJs, and they know nothing about anything other than the fact they go out and play the same song every weekend. But we're not going to go there. We're going to go to the fact that this has happened actually quite a few times around the world, but it became really not really popular, but it came to the front of the news source recently because it happened in America, in Los Angeles, at a club where the promoter, in every article you read, says that clubs aren't, that he's no longer allowing laptops in the DJ booth. But if you read into it, it's nothing like that at all. But he does have a good point, but everyone else is taking the point of no laptops in the DJ booth as being some sort of illustrious thing where people who use turntables are better than everyone else. When it's not like that, and I will get into that later. But I'm going to read a couple excerpts from his interview to tell you what he meant by that when he said no laptops in the interview. He said the problem lies mainly with opening DJs. He said they show up with a laptop and a controller, and that's all they've ever used, and they don't know how to connect his system. And I've seen this before with other DJs that will come in a place and not have the right connections to hook up, and then go, well, you guys are supposed to supply that, and it's like, just come closer. I'll give you the right connections. But he said they don't know how to plug stuff in. Like I said, I've ran into a lot, and I'm sure other people have too. He says, I'm old, and back when I was a kid, he said DJs didn't dare leave the house unless they're ready to put on a good performance, which makes sense to me. If you're going to go out and put on a show, no matter whether it's singing, whatever, you should be able to put on a show. I know young DJs have to cut their teeth, but they've got to learn that to do what they're doing and have an epic fail where they'll go in and unplug something at midnight while the other DJs DJing, is a real bad thing. He says we immerse ourselves in a culture where it is now that it's just a stupid hobby that anyone seems to pick up and do. He says, no, I don't think mixing has been lost, but easily learned taught skills that anyone can pick up a laptop and have a 4/4 beat can be relatively quickly being able to do the job. But what is lost is the music selection, which I always say that's one of the biggest things when I say about teaching DJing, that I think two of the things is knowing your music and being able to read the crowd. He ended up quoting the end of the article where he said, Little Louie Vega, for those of you who don't know, he's a house DJ. He said, if Little Louie Vega wanted to come in and play on a Commodore 64 in the club, I would let him. He goes, I know he's not going to screw up, but that's what it came to. It has nothing to do with actual turntables. He even said later in the article, maybe just learn to use CDJs and, with thumb drives or something different. So it isn't necessarily the laptop or the controller. It's inexperienced DJs. And like I said, I'm going to ramble on for this later, but I blame partially the older DJs for not teaching. So it's partially them thinking they know everything and partially older DJs, which I teach all the time. I don't care. I'll tell anybody anything I know. It's kind of hard to get me not to tell them things I know. But other DJs, I think, need to help out. Don't be so afraid of having younger DJs show you up, because if you're not good enough, then that's on you, not them.
So let's jump into this a little bit. Part of it, MJ, I made some notes of some of the things you were talking about, and how the concept of music selection, and I hear this when I'm talking to some of the manufacturers, and they're talking about their controllers. We've got the Envy controller, and they were talking about the ability to not have that computer in front. The dashboard from Newmark, not having a computer in front. And I've read one of the reviews, or one of the articles next to, or that referred to this story, talking about the guy maybe didn't like having the laptop in front of the DJs and such, that they should just use a thumb drive.
No, I'm gonna kill that right now, because if you saw my last Rewind report, it was called The Gimmick Factory, and it's about screens on controllers. Because I'm telling you, anybody who's in the industry right now, I will tell you to your face, screens on a controller are pointless. We still, for those of us who mix and pick songs and search for BPMs and requests, we need a keyboard in front of us to type the songs and search for them. So to move that keyboard, I almost knocked over my drink there. To move that keyboard is just pointless to us. Screw the screens, give us a keyboard or something. You know what I'm saying? It's pointless to not have a keyboard there. Unless you're doing one style of music and taking everything from one folder, just being able to look down at a tiny screen doesn't serve you. And if in my the whole thing, learn to mix by your ears, not your eyes. So if you can't mix without that waveform in front of you, then again, you're losing out. I mean, I don't know.
Shani, music selection and such, how does that feel for you?
Yeah, I do have a record box controller. So, I do have it, where it's, I do thumb drive with it. I, in the club, two of the clubs that I go to have the Nexus CDJs, with thumb drive. And it takes a lot getting used to when you're used to the laptop, where I have, a terabyte of songs on my laptop, and can be like, oh, I didn't think about this song and I want to play this. Whereas, with the thumb drive, I get it what people are saying, like, oh, you just bring what you want to the club. But see, that's not me. That's not the type of person I am. I like to think out of the box. I like to vibe with the crowd. The promoter might tell me this is the type of crowd that's coming in here, but there might be some convention coming into Chicago or some concert that happened down the street, and now I got all those kids or all those people coming in my club, and what I thought I was going to play, and to me it's just kind of like a wedding or any type of mobile event. Does anybody really pre-program their mobile events? And if they do, boo-boos, we need to talk, because you should never pre-program. Yes, there's the requests. Yes, there's certain go-to songs that everybody has, but you should never pre-program anything, and that's for me for the club. So I do, if I'm just doing a 20-minute set somewhere, then I know it's a 20-minute set, this is what I have because it's some great venue, this or that, then yeah, I might walk in with that USB. But I understand what he's saying, because I call it Serato face. And that's what I call, whether they're using Serato or not. To me, it's Serato face. And it's people staring at a screen, and they're just staring at the screen, and they're not looking at the crowd. They're not vibing with what's going on. They're not seeing what's the surroundings. They're not looking at anything but the screen. So if I see they're looking at the screen, I know what they're doing. They're DJing off the waveforms. They're not listening. They could just take the headphones off. They're not listening to the music. They're not beat mixing. They're not doing any of that. They're looking at the waveforms. So if I went over and did AM code or whatever it is to like make the screen black, they would probably freak out on me. Or if something happened to their screen and it went black, they would freak out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the old school way of learning to do it, beat mixing, listening to what you can do and things like that. I understand that, but also the new DJs can't be afraid to go up to the old DJs and ask for the help. Because I get what MJ's saying, but I'm not going to put myself out there to some green newbie who thinks they know it all because they got this brand new controller that they got at Guitar Center on sale and this and that. And they have, a 1 month subscription that they got for free of DJ intro or some sort of thing. And they think they know everything because I'm going to do it again today because they know how to do this, and they know how to be, the knob turner. I went up in above this time. This time I put a little curve to it, though, MJ.
Little flair.
A
I
little
kind
more.
of put a little flair with it, and I got to lean
hot
back
in
when I
here.
do it,
Getting a
too.
little
I'll lean back when I do it, but you know, but if somebody came up to me, one of the young guys came up to me and said, "Hey, you know, I got this controller because it's $300 and that's what I can afford, but I would love to learn old school style." That's when I have a big smile on my face and say, "When do you have time? And when do you want to come over to the lab? And when do you want to just do a session?" But I'm not going to put myself out there for those guys that think they know everything because they're a DJ now. So I get where the owner's coming from, because I've seen it where I have an opening DJ and I walked into one club and he had his controller on 1200s. And I just took a picture and video and I social media that out, and the comments that I was getting from all the old school DJs, like, knock him in the head, take the controller, throw it against the wall. Does he not know what he's doing, why he's sitting it up there? And I asked him, I came out and said, "Can I ask you why you were doing it?" And his response was, "This is the only way I know how to DJ."
Sounds like you had a lot of MJs who were responding to that little post. I guess there's a lot of people with anger issues, MJ.
Anger issues in what sense do you mean here?
Well, you know, that slap them in the head, throw the controller out the window.
No, because I don't have a problem with any of it. Like I said, if the person wants to learn, like she said, specifically what she said, that they walk in thinking they know everything. Yeah. I've watched young DJs post, "Hire me, I own 10,000 MP3s. Freaking whoop. You can go out and buy, you know, you can go out and I make this comment all the time about carpentry because I can compare stuff, because we technically in the business, and I heard the guy earlier tonight talking about that we are, we're in the service industry. We are contract employees technically. So you can go out and buy all kinds of construction equipment, but that doesn't make you, you know, a carpenter or anything, you know. So that's where I think it comes into that. If a young person wants to know, be open to tell them, but also you're going to have to look at ones like that who, you know, have 30 friends show up and think, you know, I'm the greatest in the world. I actually heard a DJ here in the city says that he's going to be a millionaire by the time he's 30. And now he's, you know, DJing the tiniest little places.
Well, I'm glad he has aspirations that in his head, you know, he thinks he's going to be a millionaire, and that's great. But you know, you got to do your due time. I mean, that's my thing. And you know, for these younger guys, I get it, but they need to put their time into it if they want to be like the other DJs and the veterans who they'll tell you the stories about. You know, you guys know the stories of, you talk to your great grandparents or grandparents. "I had to walk uphill twice with no shoes in the snow." And you're like, "Really?" Because you lived in Florida, you know, and they tell the stories of how it was hard for them. And, you know, and my friends tell me, you know, I had to carry the crates. And when I needed more crates at you know, late at night, we had to sneak behind the grocery store and try to steal more crates for the records. And nowadays people, you know, they don't get that. They don't even get carrying the big CD cases, and they don't understand any of that. They don't get any of that. But as far as the thumb drive, you know, goes and things like that, to me, it's more of a preference. If people love working off that thumb drive, that's great. I don't mind doing it again if I have a small set. But if I have a whole night at a club, I like to just go all over the place with my music. And for me, I can't do that on my thumb drive. And I can't think like this because, like MJ said, I want to be able to type in a search. Yeah. And think of a song, and I can't do that. Plus, I hot mix a lot. So I'm really hot mixing after like that first chorus. You know, sometimes I'm hot mixing, or second chorus, I'm already out. And I'm already in the next song. And with the thumb drive, I'm going to sit there and I have to keep clicking. Now I'm turning one knob.
Yeah.
I have to keep clicking through and, you know, get to the category. And I get it. We'll put it in this sub crate and do this on thumb drive. Done it all. Done there. But I'm also not have Serato face, and I'm not looking at my computer all the time. I'm rocking with the crowd and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But I'm also the one that's calling if I'm at a new venue and finding out, what equipment do you have? What's up there? Do you have a Serato box already? Do I need to bring a Serato box? Oh, is it a 2-channel mixer? So maybe I have to bring a thumb drive or a CD. So when the opening DJ's leaving or he's finishing a song, I have to put that in there while I'm connecting. So I do think of those things, which some of the newer DJs, they don't even think about that. I mean, you know, this weekend, I'm part of the 35th anniversary of the Chicago House Music Party that's going on. 60 DJs are performing on 6 stages. Now, I think that's incredible, but in the back of my mind, I think it's going to be a cluster mess because some of those opening DJs have no clue how to go from one DJ to the next and when they only have a half-hour set. They're going to be like, wait, I'm off. Wait, you're on now? Okay, you got to give me one more song because I'm not ready yet. They're not going to know how to do any of that, where the veteran DJs know how to set up their box and know how to get that going. Or if there's only one Serato box, put a USB, have one song going, this and that. So those newer DJs just know controller, their songs, filter, knob turning. All right, I'm done, MJ. I think I talked more than you.
Wow, there's a first. Wow, cool. Dan, what do you have to say? I mean, I have lots. Because you all know that I do like the entire theses on stuff. So I have pages. So Dan, tell us what you got while I'm sending Shani a picture that she's not allowed to share with anyone.
Okay. I can't wait. You'll see my face though.
Oh my goodness. I'm kind of in with some of the. When I started with CDs, and I started on a dual deck CD player in a bar that had a dance floor, and that's what I got started on. And I carried my CDs, and that was my thing. I hear what a lot of people are saying, and I hear about the old style talk. I think the difference is there has to be an appreciation. I don't think you have to know all the extra styles. The whole argument here. Well, if you don't know how to do it on vinyl, then you're not a DJ. I disagree with that, but I do agree with that. There has to be an appreciation, and I think that's where some of them have a problem. If we go back to the original article, I wonder what is that club owner they're going to want to know in order to say, okay, yeah, you can bring the laptop in. If that's the idea that is, okay, it's a beginning DJ that doesn't understand it, is, if he does his homework, if he or she does his homework, does that make a difference?
In my opinion, that's his way of controlling it.
Well, yeah, but even in the article, and you shared with us, and it goes on, and I think even you read some of it, that, if so-and-so wants to come in with it, yeah, I'm going to let them. I know we're not of the caliber of the artist, but, it's, okay, I am going to allow it. What's the threshold for the person coming in with that? And I'm kind of like with the idea of a USB. How is, I don't know. In my viewpoint, I'm like, how is that different? In my view, and keep in mind, I've not seen somebody mix with the USB stick. So I get the Serato face and that, and I get the waveform on the, which is basically the same thing. I'm sorry, it's the same thing, same concept. You're looking at a little screen on the controller versus the crowd. Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead. No,
that's okay. I kept interrupting you, so I apologize. I just want to say, prior to 2010, Denon, the picture that I showed Shani, that one actually was with the nice comment. I'm not repeating what she said back.
You can't repeat what I said back.
But Denon came out years and years ago with their 1200 CD players that actually took thumb drives. And up until 2010, that's what I used, was thumb drives, and you could attach a keyboard to them where you could type, search for songs, but you had a screen about this big where you could only see like 3 things. And that's when I got tired of it in 2010, is when I first started DJing with a laptop. I never had waveforms in front of me, anything before that. So if you're doing certain amount of songs, like Shani said, it actually is beneficial if you can use those Pioneers and drop that thumb drive in. You're not gonna have to carry a boatload of.
It's awesome. You carry a little case.
Yeah, your headphones, headphone case, and your 2 thumb drives are in. That's all you need. But like the one guy just said, his Denons do both. That's right. I use them. I still have them upstairs. I keep thinking about selling them, but they're actually one of my favorite setups. But again, how do they choose that? How does the owner, pick? I think that would have to come down to somebody has to know that DJ that's opening DJ, and someone would have to vouch for him. But like I've said before, I don't know about other cities, but here in Pittsburgh, you can't DJ in a big club unless you bring Serato and vinyl. You literally, they don't have anything. They won't let you bring anything. That is your only one life choice. And I'm talking about this a little bit later, but I'll go ahead and say it now. I have heard countless young people say the only reason they're using Serato and vinyl is so that the older DJs let them DJ. And I've heard countless older DJs who won't admit it in public. I will record it and play them if they ever try to smack on me, that say they would use controllers if they weren't afraid of what people would say about them. And to me, that's the definition of a sellout, choosing something you don't want because you're afraid of what other people have to say.
I have a controller right there.
Yeah.
I have an SZ right there.
That may be my next purchase right there, because Denon is starting to like make me turn away. So Pioneer, I may be coming your way. Hint, hint, Pioneer sponsors.
Well, speaking of sponsors, we should do take our little break in that and do our first sponsor spot. We've got Color Key. Let's go Color Key, DJ Event Planner, and Electro Voice as our sponsors in this round.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
Okay, we are back. Those are some of the sponsors for summer 2016. Links are in the description below. Show them some love. We've got some great sponsors with us this summer. MJ, you had a couple of thoughts before we move to our next topic.
Okay, I'm gonna give 3 points here. Observation, because like I've said before, when we talked about a couple weeks ago about EDM, about how things go up and change and all that kind of stuff, I have seen the wave of equipment over my life starting in the 80s, DJing on broken Sears and Roebuck turntables. So I've seen it all, but I want to point out the fact that in the 90s, CDJs got the exact same reception as controllers are now. Literally, I had a friend of mine say the first time I ever see one of those in a club will be the last time I ever DJ. A couple of years ago, he was in a big club sitting on a tractor controller. So, I guess that statement got negated when it came to, do you want a job?
Or not.
Yeah, so the things change, just like the pushback is on this. The pushback was there on the CDJs when they came out. And not just necessarily CDJs, because they were the late 90s, but CD players in general. Two groups I want to give an example of just for this whole technology thing. I want to put this in your mind. They both have to do with the textile business. I don't know why both of them were in my mind and why they're both about the textile business. Perfect examples. If you ever hear the term Luddites, Luddites, they were a group of self-employed weavers in the 1800s, and they protested against, and I'm going to quote this, labor economizing technology. And they were basically mechanical looms. And they were, during the Industrial Revolution, they were saying that they were going to take away jobs from more skilled weavers and give them to less skilled laborers, and they would be losing their jobs. And the Luddites movement became worldwide and just went massively crazy. But guess what, we're using today? Mechanical things to make things. And the second one, same along with that. I'm only going to say his name once because I cannot pronounce it. I've never been able to pronounce it right. It's Barthélemy Thimonier. Okay, we'll just call him Bart. He was from France, and he was one of the earlier developers of the sewing machine. And he ended up getting a government grant from France because he built these machines, and he built bunches of them to make uniforms for the French army. Well, the tailors in the area thought that isn't fair that he's using a machine, and they came one night and destroyed his entire factory, machines and everything. He barely escaped with his life, got together with another partner, rebuilt again. The tailors came back again and burnt down his factory. What are we using today to make clothes? Sewing machines.
So you're saying the moral of the story is that if somebody's using a controller and you don't like it, you burn down their factory.
Well, you can, but guess what? They're still going to be there.
There we go. So
they get along with each other. That's the thing. That use what I've always said this before. It's like driving a car. I can't tell you what kind of car to drive. You pick whatever you want to drive. But if you're a bad driver, then you're a bad driver. no car is going to make you a better driver unless it's a Google self-driving car. No. But those are there. Like I said, but those are there. And I want to go back to the haters thing real quick and done. This is the last thing. And one of my things in the book that I'm putting together, one of the articles I wrote, I talked about the gatekeeper. And it's a type of hater, and they represent their own status quo. They don't want to see any of the world change because that means they themselves would have to change, do something different, or learn something new. So the people who are saying, no turntables, they're trying to keep things the way they are. Yes, anybody uses a turntable. I talk with guys all the time because I'm on both sides of the fence. Use them all, and they will all say it's just something different to learn. If you change a software, you've got to learn something different, and people don't like that. So this all, I think, comes down to that. It comes down to a combination of, like Shamey said, a kid not thinking he knows everything, and other a lot in there. It's going to continue on. Did I make any sense there? I rambled a lot. This is my 12-page dissertation in 2 sentences.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, basically, the club owner is just letting people know, like, learn your trade. Yeah. Learn your trade. Like, I'm not saying no to this, but know your stuff. Because if you don't, I'm going to call you out on it, and you will never spin in my club or anyone that I know's club again, because you don't know what you're doing, and we can see it and we can tell.
I think that's why I still get to DJ in clubs with a controller, because they know that I'm not there, pre-mixed sets, because I catch a lot of DJs doing pre-mixed sets, and I just want to friends of mine, adults doing pre-mixed sets, acting like they're actually standing there DJing.
Oh yeah. Knob turning, which I won't do again because I've already done 3. So maybe a little later, but
it's just creepy when you do it. I'm just saying.
It didn't look right.
You get that about everything. Walk across the street, you look creepy, man.
Excuse me, sir, get your face off that kindergarten window.
Yeah. Wow. No, but I think that's why they let me, because I'm stubborn. I do it, but they also, because I actually had a guy the other day. I just finished a late night gig, and I'm walking the car, ran into another DJ, and he starts talking about controllers and controller DJs, and I'm like, you do remember that I use a controller? He goes, yeah, but you mix though, So he, in his mind, he didn't see me as a controller DJ. He saw me as a DJ who mixed. He didn't even think of it. And that's
interesting.
I mean, here's my thing. I don't care what equipment I have. I'm going to mix. I'm going to do the same thing that I do no matter what. And people are going to see my talent, whether I'm on CDJs and the brand new, S9 mixer that came out, or a little, controller, whether it be the little Pioneer SR, SB, whatever those little small ones are. I'm going to use it like it's a CDJ, and I'm going to show so if people never saw what I'm mixing on, they're just going to hear my mixes and feel my music. And then if another DJ walked in and saw, they'd be like, damn, Daniel, you mixing on that? And I'll be like, you didn't know, did you? See, it doesn't matter what I'm mixing on because I got the talent. So that's just my thing about it.
Dan?
And somebody just hit it up in the chat room, and I think it's, I wonder if this is also a hidden argument. Controllers mean sync to some people. No, I'm not saying that, but somebody threw it in.
You can still MIDI map a sync button on your keyboard, and I know people who do, because they go, oh, see, the sync button doesn't work, but they'll reach up on the keyboard and do it. And I'm like, you are the freaking liar of the world.
No, I'm just, anyway.
No, I know some people think because all the controllers came out and they have the sync button now that, if I hit sync on that, it's by accident.
I use it all the time. Because to me, it's a skill to me that's nothing. And number 2, 90% of the time, mine aren't beat matched anyways. So the downbeat isn't correct. So the sync doesn't work. So I'm reaching over and tweaking it. But to me, it's just one skill. So I always challenge guys when they start talking this smack. Cheney, could you do a whole night of mixing if you did not beat match a single song? Could you do a night without beat matching a single song?
Are we talking slamming the songs? Are we talking like just
slamming, picking songs, special intros? Anyway, could you do a whole night without beat matching a single song if you had to?
If I had to do the night, of course I would. I would stand on my head and do it if I had to.
So
but
it's not an essential; it's an important tool. It's not
right. I could do right. I could play music, is what you're saying. Yes. Can I play music without beat matching and without mixing it? Of course, I could play music. Is it the way that I personally play music?
Right.
No, it's not the way I personally play music. But do I? If I had to, can I just hit it? And now I'm doing this. I don't know what we want to call this move, but now I'm doing this.
That's actually, it's actually called in the terms. Actually, in terms, it's called throwing up and throwing down your faders.
Okay, so I was talking about I'm not knob turning right now, but yes. So I mean, if I had to do that,
Yeah.
I had to do it. But am I going to have a big smile on my face while I do it? Probably not, because I'm not enjoying,
Right. I'm just saying, can you pull it off? Because I guarantee I could do a whole night scratching
yeah.
things in and catching stuff and doing loops just with the fader, loop.
Yeah, I could knob turn the whole night too if I had to. I could sit there and filter and take the bass out and bring the bass in and do that. I know those little secrets that some of those DJs do, where the way they mix and they don't. Yeah, I know those little things.
So you can do it all night long.
Opposite directions, then opposite directions, then opposite directions.
I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that, but yes. And can I come with it? And can I walk in there with a USB and plug it in and pretend I'm mixing too, and put my hands in there and clap it up and do all this while there's a mix going on and my two hands are still in the air and go like this and everything? Yeah, I could do that too. Walk to the bathroom and then all of a sudden someone goes, "Is that a mix of two songs?" And she's in the bathroom. Yeah, I can do that too.
You got the remote control on your phone.
Yeah, I got an iPad. I'm doing it from the iPad.
Just remember to watch.
Next subject. I think we have beaten that. We've curated that one.
Okay, let's see. What did we have? We had the
stealing pictures.
Oh, pictures. Hey, yeah, that was an interesting post today.
Which I had that happen to me, by the way.
There was a chat on, I don't remember which Facebook page. There was somebody had posted. A lot of you are familiar with who Peter Mary is. Peter Mary wrote a book, The Best Wedding Reception Ever, something to that effect. And it has this really cool picture in it of a wedding party that's kind of like walking down a road, what have you. But they're walking towards the camera person. And whoever posted this, they had gone to Google and did a search for that image. And it was 400, that image was used illegally or inappropriately over 440 times. And I saw that and I thought that was just incredibly, first off, I didn't realize you could search by images like that and be able to have it found like that. But what are your guys' thoughts of people using images like that and such in their marketing that aren't their pictures?
I had one stolen from me that I got cropped out. I just want to share it here. They just cropped me right out of there. That's the original. That's the original.
That's awesome. Wait, put it up again. Put it up one more time. Put it up one more time. Put it up one more time.
I'm just hanging out with some of my friends, took a picture, and then everybody else is like cropping stuff in, and I can't believe that's been used so many times.
I'm surprised there was two no names in the picture besides.
Oh my God, that was good. That was good. Hate when that happens.
Oh, that was bad.
Okay, I'm done now. So you guys got the rest of this.
Oh. Do you want to talk about the person the image, or do you want to just?
Well, as far as, the thoughts, I mean, there's people out there who think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier for the people who are watching us, and was shared a picture from somebody, and I didn't realize how many times this picture was just submitted by all of these other people. I mean, I don't even how many as of what we saw. How many people were using that picture?
440 some.
Yeah, of somebody else saying it was theirs. Just so you guys know, saying it was their picture, and and I know there's those stock pictures that people take from, but we're not even talking about a stock picture. This is a picture from a private event from a DJ that posted it. Not only did they post it, I believe it was like in one of their books.
Yeah, it was in the book. Yeah,
as well. It was in a book as well, and I guess people really liked the picture that much that, again, not only were they taking it, but then taking credit for it. And it's just not okay to me, because my whole thing about it is you're lying. You're a liar. And you're going to get, to me, it's going to bite you in the tuchus. To me, it's going to, you're going to get knob turned the wrong way. It's going to, because someone's going to grab a picture from somebody, which it happened to me as well. Somebody actually took a picture from one of our corporate setups and loved the way we did the setup, used it on his Facebook, said this was one of his new setups and the new way he was doing his trussing and a new thing. and kept saying it was all his. And it was definitely, 5 of our pictures. I approached him nicely first and said, please take this down. And there's no harm. I said, okay, yeah, there's no harm. You're saying it's your pictures, first of all. And what if a client or a prospective client sees that of his and says, that's what I want? He doesn't have that.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to do that. That was new right then and there. And we had a whole production company that came in and set that up even for us. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're lying to your prospective clients. And if that's the way you want to do your business and you want to be liars, then, go for it if that's the way you want to run your business. But I just can't believe they're really, I guess I can believe there are people that do it because they do it all the time.
Yeah.
I have a friend who has, in his brochure, has a picture of cake mapping that he offers. He's never cake mapped in his entire life. He doesn't even own the software, but he advertises that he can do it. So if you book him for that, then he'll learn it and get the software. So he took someone else's picture.
See, and I know some people who have used other people's pictures, but they've done it. They've asked permission to do it. They've said, "Hey, you know what? I don't have that capability." Similar to like with Shaney's their big system. Shaney, I don't have that. You've got, and that's the system I'm going to purchase or I'm purchasing. Would you mind? And I've seen that working numerous times, but that's not the way it happens most of the time.
No, and just to piggyback off that, Mike, who we used to have on here a couple months ago, when I bought a photo booth, I had no photo booth pictures, and he was more than gracious to allow me to borrow some of those in the meantime. Yeah. But I think one of the big problems that we run into is it's too easy for us to Google things, and Google has the image icon that you can click at the top, and now it just sorts the images. I don't even know where the picture comes from. Mm-hmm. It's just like I see it and I can even save it right there without ever having to go to know who it came from, without ever having to really go into it any farther. And I think that's a large portion of the problems. And then I also see it as, when I followed a couple of the links just to kind of see where they were coming from. One actually credited, which I thought was kind of cool. They credited, they used the initials for the best wedding reception ever. But then another one was for a hotel. What I thought was interesting behind it, I think some people think I'm not claiming that it's my photo, I'm using it like it's a stock image of that type of thing. So for example, it was promoting their wedding services. So they thought, here's a picture of a wedding party. They never said it was our wedding party, never said it had to be our wedding party. There's nothing that says they're using that at our venue, but it shows, yeah, I can look at that and go, yep, that's a wedding party. I think that's sometimes why the people are naive maybe about using it, because they feel it's not pertaining directly. I'm not saying it's mine. I'm just saying, here, this is an identifying type of picture.
Right. And the thing is, what a lot of DJs, when they're getting their websites put together and they're trying to do it on the cheap, you can go buy from a stock photo place, $20 is going to get you a lot of great images. And those images are going to pertain, I was wanting to do a front cover on my website one time with a father and daughter at a really kind of a cute moment when she's a little girl, because at that time, that's the angle I was marketing to. I went and I bought the image and I paid $40 for the image because it was a really awesome image. And I wanted to have the rights to use that on my marketing. Yeah, $40 is a lot to pay for an image, but that was the right way to do it. Now that same image could be on hundreds of other pieces of material because other could have bought it also. I don't know. That's not my responsibility. But doing it the right way, I think, just kind of says something. Not be a liar, as Shaney was saying earlier, is a huge thing. Okay, we're going to take one quick break, and we'll be back for our final little bit here. We've got a couple more, I believe. We've got Top Hits and Blizzard as our last two for tonight.
Top Hits USA from RPM. Our name says it all. Get the latest hits while they're the hottest. With Top Hits USA, you'll have the track for sure. Visit tophitsusa.com or call 800-521-2537 and get a free demo.
And Blizzard Lighting is at InfoCon this week, as are a lot of the different sponsors for all of the Disc Jockey News World. This is a big week down in Las Vegas. We're going to be bringing you some live information from InfoCom starting, I believe, on Wednesday. We're going to try to do a couple of things to get you some of the new products that are being introduced at InfoCom. So, cool stuff. Guys, we've got just a few minutes left. Did we have any other questions? Any other...
Jose just asked a question about music.
Music services recommended.
I
Obviously,
mean, in my opinion, it depends what type of DJ you are. For me, I mean, I know people like in the chat rooms always like spurt out certain services, but to me, it really depends on what kind of DJ you are, because certain services really do cater to those type of DJs. I mean, I love like the promo only and, those services, but those are, like radio edits. So
Yep.
if you're a club DJ, that's not going to help you. Or if you're a mixer that likes re-drums and mixes and stuff like that, that's not going to help you. But those type of services are great just to have the basics of whether it be country or current or urban. I mean, they have like everything, and they also do video promo. Any of you guys want to chime in on any other services that...
well, and for the summer, we've got Top Hits USA, which was also known as RPM, which is radio. Was it radio program? What was their RPM? What did that?
Well, yeah, I can't think of it. Yeah.
I wonder if it's...
While you're looking that up, I just started a new one actually, and maybe we can do a review in the future called Video Tools. And they're basically, downloading the videos of the songs, and you get both remix and album cuts and clean versions of both old and new. And I just started it, so I'm just starting to pick through their library right now. But the few that I've downloaded, I kind of like. So. Yep.
Top Hit says radio programming and management. RPM is what we knew them as back in the 90s. And they came from the radio world. Top Hits USA and TM Century at the time, then they became what we know them as Prime Cuts today, Prime Cuts Music. But these are the three of the main ones. They're the promo only, of course. Promo only.
I didn't realize I had that shirt on.
That's why. That's the only reason I said promo only, because you were wearing the promo only shirt. So my eyes went right to the shirt that you were wearing, and I was like, promo only.
Yeah, exactly. So there's numerous different sources out there. If you followed us last week, we talked about iTunes, which is a source that's probably not going to be there at a point in time for buying music tracks in the future from some of their announcements, but. Right, I think you're going to have music. These companies have been here for a long time and will be here for a long time. They have different little niches in which they can do things. Some do some things better than others. Really, it's just to look at their products and which ones are going to fit your style.
Right, and also for those, the other digital music polls that aren't the pools that aren't, Top Hits and promo only and those ones, that make sure they're legit. If you're going to get your music from them, make sure that they are legit music pools for the club DJs, whether it be Crook and Clan stuff, that kind of stuff. Make sure they are legit music pools that you're getting your stuff on. So you have the right quality and you have the right type of music for that. Yeah, I belong to 5 of them. So, I'm getting music all over the place.
One of the biggest ones nobody ever mentions is YouTube.
Is what?
YouTube.
Your mic dropped out. I didn't even hear you.
Yeah, and I do the air horn right now.
Had to go there.
Yeah, it's such great quality music service there. Although, again, we have kids that come up and say, "Can you play this off YouTube, man? It's my favorite song." Shut up.
It's streaming. That's what we talked about last week, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
we talked about streaming. Yep.
It's going to be great. Great stuff. Okay, guys, we'll be back again next week. We're going to be back at our 8 o'clock start time, I believe, next week, 8 o'clock Central. So it's 9 o'clock Eastern, and doing our show. So we'll be back on the week there. So
the whole thing. Let's clarify that. We as in us four, or you're
okay. So I'll just go the schedule, and I'm going to go look at the schedule right now. The schedule is
those of you who only tune into us. He does have other stuff each night, so really go and check the other stuff out.
Next week,
Tuesday nights. You have Tuesday nights with Brian.
Yep, tomorrow night with Brian actually is going to be an interesting show because we're going to go and we're going to make up a hypothetical wedding. We're going to go and talk about the characteristics of the couple and the families that are at a wedding and their first dance. We're going to set that up, and then I'm going to set it up, and then Brian's going to give me a set of music coming out of their first dance into that first dance set. And then and then we're going to set up the couple of situations, but we're going to be setting it up with a hypothetical room of people, the age and demographics. So in other words, that will allow us to helpfully give an idea of the sets of music. And if we have some time, we're going to do a wedding party Mad Lib where we're going to have the guests go and put together a wedding couple, and we're going to then put together these songs that we're going to use to come out of their first dance. But they're going to describe the wedding couple and some of the guests and such, and we're going to try to put a set together for that. So, and then we'll be going after that. We've got some questions that have been submitted that we throw to Brian each week, and sometimes we get some really good answers, and sometimes we just sit there and look at the microphone for a few minutes, and then we continue. So. Next Monday night, we've got this new guy in the industry. Some of you might have heard of him. His name is Mike Walter. He'll be coming on with me at 8 o'clock.
Walters? Mike Walters?
Single Mike Walter.
Oh, okay. He's a single guy. Mike Walter.
Walter. There's only one of him. He'll be at 9 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to be talking about keeping your performance fresh. Josh Yan is going to be coming on and talking about MC tips. Josh is if you guys have gotten to know or have heard of Josh Yan, he was a DJ and he's gotten into the TV world. And the thing is, with his TV world that he's into right now, he can all of a sudden be called out for 5 days of recording somewhere. So he's tentatively on a schedule for next Monday. We don't know for sure if that's going to work. So if Josh we'll have 9:30. It'll be the Josh or Jeremy Breck will be after that. So it'll either be Mike and Jeremy, Mike, Josh, and Jeremy, and then we'll be wrapping things up at 10:30 Eastern time right here with our weekly show. Yay. Sorry.
Unless somebody does a show and then we're up earlier. Or
if Josh can't make it with us, then we'll go earlier. We'll be a half an hour earlier, and I'll know that. Okay. I should know that by Thursday. So watch the emails that come out on Thursday or Sunday. Both will have the schedule of what's going to happen Monday night. So
I was going to ask you if I can please subscribe to the Disc Jockey News TV Guide, the DJN TV Guide.
Yeah, the DJN TV Guide. Yeah, we almost need to have something like that.
Don't you just hit guide and it scrolls down? You don't buy that stuff anymore.
And they still have the TV Guide.
I don't even have TV hooked up, so I'm a cord cutter, so whatever.
It amazes me that they still have TV Guide in the stores next to those little Soap Digest, whatever they are.
Is it wrong that I look at it? That I do look at the TV Guide?
You know, I don't think
it's at my doctor's office too. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I take it.
Now you're a bad person.
For what?
For the shows. I still get the normal channels on my DirecTV. Hey, look, you really want me to go right there, MJ? I still have an AOL account.
So do I. What's your point?
Thank you, Dad.
So
does Mike Walter. So there. I email with him back and forth.
We are going to create a new show, John, with people who don't live in the 90s. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. So Grandma Shaney and the crew are going to be back next week.
I'm living in the 90s this week with my house music, so it's okay.
Oh, great. Once again, thank you guys for watching. We just put up a link with the DJN TV Insider. If you guys get a chance, check that out, because that's something that we've been talking about an awful lot. So go check that out. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow night at let's see, I think we're on at 9 o'clock Eastern, I think it is, or are we 9 o'clock?
There's no time.
I don't know. I don't even know tomorrow night. We're on later tomorrow.
Just subscribe and watch for the
Yeah, watch it. Go click subscribe. You'll see it. I'm too busy watching. But yeah, we're on tomorrow night. I think we're on at 9 o'clock Central, actually, tomorrow night. 9 o'clock Central tomorrow. Next week, we'll be on 8 o'clock. We'll see you then. Thank you much. Good night, everyone.